Welcome back to the channel, folks. So there's a proposal to reintroduce the 1.2% burn tax for LUNC, but also implement transaction fees for LUNC and USTC. So this is quite a lot to process for one proposal. For me, long pause already, Jesus. For me, right, the burn tax isn't an issue if you've got a whitelist. Now, we've given Binance a whitelist. There's talk of people like Backbones getting on this whitelist. And I think this should be a thing now where there's some sort of website you can go to, even if they've got to backfeed it off of our auto compounding site, right? You can go to this website and you can apply for the whitelisting. Another thing you could do is kind of like what Trust Wallet do, where they actually charge people for pull requests and then put the whitelisting system behind a paywall. That would be the smarter thing to do, because ultimately you would just have everyone and their mums whitelisting every wallet that they could. And I think that's a good way to make it so you've got to give a little to get on this, considering you're going to be void of the burn taxes. And specifically at 1.2%, it's a considerable amount for any project. And I myself run an AC module. A lot of you utilize that module. If you're not delegating with me, you're probably still using that module. Now, with that kind of module comes fees. We're really nice. We don't put those fees on you, even though we should from a business perspective. We should put those fees on each individual person. That way, no one person gets the sting. The sting is spread out across board. We didn't do that. We do it so the validator themselves, right, have to more or less fill the coffers themselves. So it's down to the validator providing the auto compounded service. At 0.2%, it's a lot. At 1.2%, well, it's a hell of a lot more. If you was to allow projects to whitelist, charge them a little to get on the list, chain gets something, and everybody moves forward, because these kind of projects, the more that they can flourish, the more that they can work, the more they can move coins around. Sometimes it's not about making money. It's simply about moving coins around. It's about getting things flowing, things going from A to B to C to D, back to A to B to C to D. So with this all being said, right, for me, I would love to see this come back. And I'm going to be getting onto this in a second as to my thesis with this, but only if project whitelisting is made available. And like I said, even if you've got to put it behind a paywall like Trust Wallet do, if you want to get your validator listed on Trust Wallet so people can stake with you on there, it's like $1,400. I mean, even if we charge people $20 for a pull request, we could do 50-50, right? So the person who takes the pull request from the L1 team would get 50% of it, right? Everybody wins. Something happens, things move from A to B to C to D, and everybody's happy, right? Now, the reason why a 1.2% burn tax could work in our benefit, and just hear me out here, we suffer from a lot of shorting all the time, especially when there's rumbles, grumbles, moans in the community on Twitter. And this is why it's bad to do our washing in public. And the specific reason is because people pick up on that, mass media pick up on it, and it's a way for them to follow that incentive to then try and play on the price. With a 1.2% burn tax, from what I was told, it actually made shorting or doing anything like that a pain, for the simple fact that no matter what happens, you've got that 1.2% burn tax to deal with at the end. And sometimes for someone who's doing a short position, they want to get out of it. It's more or less the majority of it. And a lot of the times it can cause people to get liquidated. This is just a thesis, right? This is just my opinion. So reintroducing a 1.2% burn tax is good. But then all of this, right, rolls back and crunches down into one key point. It's always going to be too little, or it's going to be too much. And this is always going to be an issue, even if you were to fix it off chain and change it on chain, right? Even if you did that. But the biggest issue is when you have, for example, like a Goldilocks tax, a dynamic tax commission system, more or less, there's got to be buffers. So there's going to be big buffers set in place. Likelihood the buffers are going to have to go above 1.2% and below 0.2% to account for any sort of fees, losses, or anything like that CEX would deal with. It's not something that we can just go, yeah, we'll implement that and cross the T's, dot the I's, it's on chain, everything will fall in line. It doesn't work like that. We need CEXs to actually support our tax changes because we can't control what they're doing on their system. The only thing we can control is the whole, I think, like deposits and withdrawals. That's the only thing we will have an effect on. Other than that, we still need them to implement it on everything else. So, like I said, for me, there's lots of ins and outs when it comes to this. But then again, always crunching down to this same key point of a dynamic sort of tax slider system. And however you're going to do this, there's a way to do it. And we just need the right intelligent people behind it. I'm loitering about on here instead of going to the United Vision where we mentioned about this. So yeah, like I was saying, right, it's something where we would need CEXs to get on board. We would need the L1 on board. We need everybody to get on board with this, including validators. And it all comes down into this approach of the way that we handle fees, gas, tax, and burn taxes. It's all very outdated and it's all built on top of one another. At this point, the whole system just needs ripping down. And we need to just go, right, let's start again. Let's just do a transaction tax and let's have everything crunched down in that transaction tax. Have it all split out by the anti-handlers and cross the T's, dot the I's. And it sort of is that sort of thing, but you need CEXs to work with you. So like I was saying, for me, there's pros, there's cons, there's ups and there's downs to when it comes to reintroducing this. Because if, say, you reintroduce this and you don't have that whitelist, the majority of the projects aren't whitelisted, you're just going to crunch everything. The AC module's done at that point. We can't afford to run with a 1.2% burn tax. It's too hefty on microtransactions. It's just too much because a microtransaction is micro for a reason. And a lot of crypto environments, they thrive off of that. When you slap a 1.2% burn tax on a microtransaction, it's like what it cost you for the transaction doesn't equate out. And we see this with the stable assets on chain where if you swap your KRTC and all of those other things through multiple swap, you're actually paying to get rid of those coins. You're literally paying to get rid of them. And that's the way the system is so poorly built at the moment that we just need to strip a lot of it down to its bare minimum and go again and come in with different approaches that are going to be more or less cures, right? Because if you get this tax approach right, if you get the gas fees right, you get it all right, you get the burn tax in place and you get this Goldilocks system in, it's automated, right? It goes up when the volume goes up and it goes down when the volume goes down, and it's fair on everybody. You can't argue with it because it's a system that's implemented. Everybody's used to the change of it going up and down, and it just becomes the new normal for the chain. And that's what we need, inventive ideas to bring forward what you want most. Because as a community, right, what do you want most? Well, you want to see the supply burn. It's pretty simple for you at this point. Burn the supply and the price will go up. But it's the impact of doing these sort of things that we've got to understand. We've got to walk before we can run, let alone sprint. And the only way this chain is going to start to get more and more up there is when we start to circulate coins with true use cases. And that comes down to measly little auto compound modules and NFT projects and metaverses and all of these different wonderful things that are coming for the future of this blockchain. Folks, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. Let me know what you think about this 1.2% tax reintroduction. I definitely think we need to get it all, at least the 0.2% tax on USTC, because it's a bit of a loophole out of our blockchain as it currently stands, if the prices are correct. Stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. Catch you in the next one.